Hello students, welcome to AffairsCloud. My name is Shashmita. We have an app by the name CareersCloud which you can go and download through the Play Store. Once you have downloaded the application, you will easily be able to log in using your Gmail ID. And once you have logged in, you will be redirected to this page where you will be getting this URL. And there will be option for home, all courses, my courses and browse section in this application. You will be getting multiple PDFs, multiple content on daily basis that will be enhancing your learning. Under Crack Current Affairs, you will be able to see multiple options. First one is Current Affairs English. We upload the day-to-day basis news in the English format. And apart from English PDF, we also provide them in Hindi format. And this banking awareness, we upload a PDF every month. So this PDF will contain the banking news, banking and the finance news of that respective month. And Current Affairs Exam PDF will have two categories. One is that most important news of that particular month will be uploaded in this Current Affairs Exam PDF. And also Exam Perspective PDF will also be uploaded. And next is Special CA. This will contain Union Budget, Economic Survey, and also the most important events that had taken place globally as well as nationally. And next most important is topic wise. So the entire news of that particular month will be segregated into different topics. And in order to recollect whatever you've read, we also provide you with topic wise quizzes. Apart from that, we also provide state current affairs. Now, here if you see, we provide you with the day-to-day PDF, and this we provide you with the weekly PDF. So that particular week news will be compiled into a PDF and in question and answer format in English and will be uploaded here. And to enhance your learning, you can also, to enhance and strengthen your learning, you can also attend the quiz. Here we provide you with the entire news of that particular week. But here we take the top 60 most important news and we upload it in this PDF in question and answer format. Apart from weekly, we also provide you the monthly ones. This PDF will contain detailed view of that particular month news, and this will have a brief format of the same news. This will be in the form of a question and answer format, and this will have the top 100 question and answer of that particular month. We also provide you with the PIB news on a day-to-day basis, which you can go and read in these particular tabs. Apart from that, we also provide the Union Budget and Economic Survey. You can also attend you can read after reading the PDF. You can also go and attend the quiz. This is available in the Special CA category. We also provide state level current affairs. So this will be very helpful for students who are preparing for state level exams. For example, if you are preparing for Tamil Nadu state level exams, then you can click this tab and you will be able to see all the current affairs or news related to Tamil Nadu. Apart from that, we also provide PDF from the exam perspective. Suppose you are preparing for RBI assistant mains, then this tab will contain 5 to 6 months of current affairs, which has high probability of being asked in RBI assistant mains. Similarly for SBI PO, RRB PO, clerk mains, all these are being given under this section. And also we provide separate content-wise, topic-wise current affairs like national affairs, government schemes, international affairs, banking and finance, economy and businesses, MOUs and committees and meetings. All these different types of news are segregated in these particular categories. Hello students, welcome to our new initiative. In this initiative, we will be uploading the weekly current affairs on banking and finance section. So this will be uploaded on every Monday. And so on the whole, per month, you will have totally 4 videos related to this topic. And apart from just providing you with the banking and finance news, we also provide you the conceptual explanation so that this will enhance and also strengthen your knowledge about these topics.
Today, we will be covering January 4th week banking and finance awareness news. Moving to the first news. The first news is RBI has released the NBFC upper layer list for the financial year 25. So, if you see, in October 2021, the NBFCs in India, they were categorized into various layers depending upon the SBR framework. SBR is scale based regulation framework. So based on this framework, the NBFC were categorized into different layers. This is based on their asset size. So asset size of different category were placed on different layers. That was main reason because see, if one asset size is like 100 crores and if another NBFC asset size is like 1 lakh crore, okay, the same set of regulations shouldn't apply on both, right? So 100 crores, the regulation should not be that strict as that is on the 1 lakh crore. That is why this SBR framework was introduced. So now if you see, currently there are 4 layers: base layer, middle layer, upper layer and top layer. Now let us see the difference between each layer. So if you see, in the base layer, it mainly consists of non-deposit taking NBFC with asset less than 1000 crore. So we know that in one of the category, there are various types of NBFC and one category is deposit taking NBFC and non-deposit taking NBFC. So generally, if you see, the deposit that the NBFCs can take, that is the deposit taking NBFCs, they can only get term deposits from the customers, not demand deposit. Demand deposit in the sense, savings account or current account cannot be opened by customer in deposit taking NBFC. Only term deposit, that is like FD, only can be opened in the deposit taking NBFCs. And non-deposit taking NBFCs, even this term deposit cannot be opened. So, no customers can deposit any money of theirs in this non-deposit taking NBFC. So, this base layer, it consists of non-deposit taking NBFC with asset size less than 1000 crores. Remember this. Next is middle layer. So, middle layer, it consists of deposit taking, all deposit taking NBFC and also non-deposit taking NBFC whose asset size is more than 1000 crores. Here, the asset size should be less than 1000 crores in the base layer, and in the middle layer, non-deposit taking NBFC includes those assets which is more than 1000 crore and all deposit taking NBFC. Next is the upper layer. So, if you see this upper layer NBFC, they kind of significant in nature and they require tighter regulation. Those kind of NBFCs are placed in the upper layer, and now RBI has released these upper layer NBFCs, that is around 15 NBFC are there in the upper layer. Next is the top layer. Top layer, if you see, the NBFC in upper layer will be moved to the top layer if RBI recognizes a substantial increase in the potential systemic risk. So, it means that if one of the NBFC in the upper layer fails, then it can affect all other NBFC also. It can affect the NBFC system itself. Then it recognizes a substantial increase in the potential systemic risk. That time, that NBFC will be moved to the top layer. Okay. So, these are the types of layers in the NBFC. So, these are the 15 NBFC upper layer: LIC Housing Finance, Bajaj, Shriram, Tata Sen, Cholamandalam, L&T Finance. So, these are the 15. Remember all the 15 because they might ask you which of the following is not in the NBFC upper layer. So, you have to remember all the 15. Muthoot Finance, Samam Capital, Bajaj Housing Finance. Next is RBI introduced revised guidelines for the asset reconstruction borrower settlement. Now, before going into this revised guidelines, now what is this asset reconstruction? So, if you see asset reconstruction company, before that, let's take an example. There's a bank, okay. It has provided a loan to a factory, but the factory failed to repay the principal or the interest to the bank. For around, if the principal or the interest is not repaid for around 90 days, then that loan becomes an NPA, that is non-performing asset. In that case, banks tries various measures to get back the loan that it has provided to the company or to the customer. Okay, it tries like it goes for a court case, then it tries to liquidate its assets. So, all these process is undertaken by the bank to get back the money it had borrowed, it had lended to the borrower. Okay, but sometimes if you see, this is a time consuming process. Lot of officials are involved in this, and also it is a long process. So, a lot of time of the bank is involved in this. So, in order to avoid that, in order to help the bank focus on the business aspect, business scenarios like deposit and loans, what this asset reconstruction company was introduced. So, what happens is that now the bank sells this loan to the asset reconstruction company, and then in hand, what is this? This asset reconstruction company provides the money to the bank, okay, and later on it collects this money from the borrower, okay. It collects money from various methods, just like filing a case, and mostly the loans will, most cases the loans will be attached to some assets. So, it will try to liquidate that assets, or it will try to find if the business is running properly, then why can't we take over the business and run it. So, various measures are there. This asset reconstruction company will do these measures in order to recover the money from the borrower. So, now if you see the bank, instead of concentrating on the non-performing asset, they can now concentrate on the performing asset and the business of the banking system. So, now they can concentrate on how to increase the deposits from the customers, or they can also concentrate on the loans, to give loans to new customers or existing customers. So, on these aspects, the bank can concentrate. So, that was the main reason for introducing the asset reconstruction company in India. So, let us look into the revised guidelines. So, now if you see the asset reconstruction company, they have to frame a board approved policy that is regarding the settlement of dues payable by the borrower. So, we know that the asset reconstruction company, after selling the loan, after buying the loan from the bank, they have to collect the money from the borrower, right? So, how this will be settled, how this money will be settled by the borrower, regarding that a board approved policy should be framed. and that will contain various details like the cutoff date for one-time settlement eligibility. So if you see within this date that if you want a one-time settlement in the sense that suppose the borrower has borrowed some 1000 crores, okay, but he is not able to repay the entire 1000 crores. So what happens is that this ARC, they can provide a one-time settlement where they can reduce it to 700 crores or something. Okay, fine, you give me 700 crores, but this is the cutoff date. Within this date, you have to make this one-time settlement of 700 crores and we can close your loan. That is one thing that should be specified in this board approved policy. And also the permissible concession based on the exposure category. So as I said here, it is 1000 crores, right? So if you repay 700 crores, that is enough. So there is a concession involved. So how much of concession can be done? That should also be mentioned in this policy. Next is valuation methodologies for settling dues. So valuation methodology is nothing but if you see, suppose an asset is attached to a loan, okay, to a factory loan. The asset here is the land. So before selling that land or before liquidating that land, what is that? Any bank or any ARC, what they will do is they will value it. Valuation will be done of that land. Valuation in the sense that how much that value, how much does the land value, whether it's 1 crore or 2 crore. So they will take the valuation. Okay. So this valuation methodology should be fixed. Just like for the asset like land, there is also valuation for the movable assets. Movable assets in the sense like raw materials and all, it is movable asset, right? So like that, there is a valuation methodology. A common valuation methodology should be formed. That should be mentioned in the board approved policy. So these are the various things that must be mentioned in the board approved policy. And also in asset reconstruction, the board of directors, if you see, it must have at least 2 independent directors. Remember, in the asset reconstruction company's board of directors, at least 2 directors should be an independent director. Next is that if the loan outstanding is more than 1 crore, then a proposal, see first a committee will frame a proposal. A committee or few members will frame the proposal and that proposal should be forwarded to the independent advisory committee. Okay, if the outstanding is more, if the loan outstanding is more than 1 crore, then a proposal will be framed by certain people and that should be forwarded to this independent advisory committee. They should only approve this proposal. Next is if the outstanding is less than 1 crore, then the person who will approve the settlement should not be the part of the acquisition. Okay, so when the acquisition of this loan was made, that time this member should not have been part of it. Only that person should approve the settlement. Okay, remember in case of 1 crore and above outstanding, an independent advisory committee is involved, but in case of dues less than 1 crore, just a person is involved, that is who is not part of the acquisition. Okay. Next, if you see the ARC, that is the Asset Reconstruction Company, they have to set up an independent advisory committee. So this independent advisory committee should examine the proposal, that is change in the management of the business of the borrower. Suppose we know that one of the method to liquidate, one of the method to get back the money is to change the management of the business. That is, you can, if you think that the business is getting a lot of flow of money, flow of fund, in that case you can either take over the management or you can change the management. Okay. So these kind of proposals will be examined by the independent advisory committee, which will be set by the ARC, that is Asset Reconstruction Company. Remember, Asset Reconstruction Company will set up this independent advisory committee, which will examine the proposal of either takeover or change in the management of the business, that is business that is owned by the borrower. Okay. Remember, the independent advisory committee should be headed by an independent director and at least 2 independent directors should be present in this independent advisory committee.
We have launched a new course called Static Banking Awareness course. Now this course will be helpful for students who are preparing for the banking exams and for the regulatory body exams. And also recently you would have seen Paytm Bank in news frequently. So when an aspirant reads this news, he would have ample number of questions like what is a payment bank, what are the norms for it, and which is the committee that has launched it. So this Static Banking Awareness course lays a foundation to the current banking and finance news. Now, you have to download our AffairsCloud to access this course. Once you have logged into our app, you can go and click this all courses icon and then you'll be redirected to this page. In this, you have to go and click the Static Banking Awareness course And under the details tab, you will be able to see a brief about this course. And under the part tab, it will contain all the contents, all the topics of the contents that are currently available in this course. We are working on this continuously and this will be completed within 2 months. Under the free tab, you can go and access one content, that is the origin and development content, for free. You can go and read this content and have an idea about this course. After reading this content, do attend the quiz that is also available under the same tab. Now, our team has allocated ample amount of time and resources to curate this content. We have created this content from various books and from various verified websites. Our content is better than any book that is available in the market. This is because we update this content on a dynamic basis. For example, there are currently 39 DRTs that are available in the country now. In future, if one more DRT is created or added, then it would become 40. So we would update this content on a dynamic basis. But in case of books, you have to wait for the next publication for this updated content. Nowadays, a lot of practical questions have been asked in the banking exams. For example, how many public sector banks are available on the stock exchange? Which is the payment bank that is being listed on the stock exchange? So, we try to cover as many practical questions as possible in this course. Apart from this, we also provide you a question bank that will contain around 3000 questions and the previous year questions along with it. We also have a dedicated tab that will release the important RBI notification and the frequent news released by the RBI. You can use this code B15 to avail 15% discount. This is one of the highest discounts that we have offered until now. So do avail this code B15 while you purchase the course.
The next news is about RBI. So RBI, it decided to conduct daily VRR operation. VRR is nothing but variable repo rate operation. So this operation can be conducted up to maximum of 14 days. So the reason for this operation is to inject liquidity, inject money into the system. So if you see, the RBI had observed that the banking system is facing deficit situation, which means that liquidity is in deficit. That is, the need for the money is more. So liquidity deficit. So we know that what does deficit generally means? When the expense is more than the income. Similarly, when the demand for money is more than what the money is actually in the system, then it is called as liquidity deficit. So the RBI had observed this liquidity deficit in the banking system, and that is why it decided to conduct this variable repo rate operation. So through this variable repo rate operation, the RBI would be able to inject liquidity into the banking system. So apart from this, RBI had also done another thing to inject liquidity into the bank system, that is reducing the CRR, that is cash reserve requirement that the banks have to maintain with the RBI. It was reduced from 4.5% to 4%. So by reducing this percentage, what happens is that the money that the banks have to keep with the RBI, it reduces. So this money now gets into the banking system. Now the banks will be able to lend this more money to the customers. And also it was observed that the forex reserve, it has decreased to a 10-month rule. The reason for this decrease is because RBI intervened in the market in the foreign exchange. So in order to prevent the rupee from depreciating, what RBI had to do is sell dollars in the market. So since the dollars demand was very high, in order to increase the demand, in order to increase the supply of dollars, what RBI had to do is sell the dollars in the market. That is why the forex reserve decreased to 10-month low. The next news is RBI introduces changes to the Foreign Exchange Management Act to facilitate cross-border trade in the INR. So now if you see, now RBI has planned to allow the non-resident individual to open Indian rupee denominated account. Remember, it is Indian rupee denominated account in the foreign branch of Indian banks. Say suppose SBI is there in India. Okay, it is there in India. It holds a branch in New York. So now what is that? An NRA in the US, he or she can open an INR, that is Indian rupee denominated account in the foreign branch of SBI. Now using this money, they can use it for various purposes, that is for capital and current account transaction, and also to settle money within NRIs. So they can use this money to send it to another NRI also. And also apart from that, this money can also be used in investing in non-debt instruments. Remember, it can also be used in investing in non-debt instruments, and also exporters also will benefit from this. That is, Indian exporters, they can open accounts in the foreign currencies abroad and also receive export payment and use it also for the import payment. So these are the various changes that the RBI has introduced. Next is about an FD scheme that has been launched by the Bank of Baroda. So this is called as the Bank of Baroda Liquid FD scheme. So generally, if a customer has opened an FD account in a bank, say suppose he or she has opened 2 lakhs worth FD account. Okay, but after few days, he meets an emergency and he requires 1 lakh rupee from this FD. But generally, if you need some money from the FD, you have to close the entire FD and only take the money that you want and again put the remaining amount back into the FD, right? That is only allowed. But this scheme, it allows you to partially withdraw money without having to close the entire FD. So say 2 lakhs, you want only 1 lakh. So you can just remove this 1 lakh. You can just withdraw this 1 lakh from the FD. The other 1 lakh will continuously be under the FD itself. You don't have to break the entire FD. Just have to withdraw the partial withdraw money and still the remaining amount will continue to be in the FD. So the balance funds interest at the fixed rate. So whatever FD rate it was implied for the first time. So you opened it on 1st, okay, and you are withdrawing the money on 15th. So when you open the account on 1st, whatever was the FD rate then, that will still be applicable only. It will not be reduced or it will not change. Okay. So this scheme, if you see, it starts with rupees minimum for 5,000. The tenure, it ranges from 12 to 60 months. And also there is no penalty. So when your premature withdrawal is done, then on this money, on whatever you withdraw prematurely, in that up to 5 lakh, there is no penalty if it has completed 12 months. Okay. Up to 5 lakh, it has no penalty if you had completed 12 months. So here you are withdrawing within 15 days. So you will have to bear a penalty. So this is the BOB liquid FD scheme. Next is about GDP projection. So the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry had released the Economic Outlook 2025, and in that it had projected that India will become the 4th largest economy by 2026, surpassing Japan. And has also projected the GDP that it will grow at 6.8% in financial 25 and 7.7% in the financial 26. And also India is expected to become a 7 trillion economy by 2030. It has also suggested one thing, that is, currently we know that the highest income tax is 30%, okay, on income above 15 lakhs. So it has also suggested that rather than being it on 15 lakhs, it has to be raised to 40 lakhs. So this highest income tax slab must be on 40 lakhs instead of 15 lakhs. So remember the GDP rate, that's very, very important. 6.8% for financial 25, 7.7% for the financial 26 by the PhD CCI. And also it had projected the inflation. Inflation, if you see, it will be 4.5% in financial 25, 4% in the financial 26. So it is also told that the country have to increase the capital expenditure, ease of doing business, reduce the cost of doing business, improve labor intensive manufacturing so that the unemployment rate will reduce. So this altogether will help in India's high growth. The next news also about GDP projection. So if you see FICCI, that is Federation of Indian Chambers and Commerce Industry, had estimated that the India will grow at 6.4% for the financial 25. So previously it had projected 7% and now it has reduced its projection to 6.4%. And CPI has been projected at 4.8% for the financial 25. Remember, 6.4% and 4.8% is the CPI. The president is Harshvardhan Agarwal and it is headquartered in New Delhi. So next is about a loan agreement. The Power Finance Corporation had signed an agreement with the Japan-based Japan Bank for International Cooperation. The agreement worth is 120 billion Japanese yen, or if you see in Indian rupee, it is 6,600 crores worth. Now, this money, if you see, it will be used for renewable energy projects. So the tenure of this entire loan is 20 years. So it will be used in energy projects, that is renewable energy, next generation energy supply and energy efficient power generation. So this is where the money will be deployed. Remember, it is Power Finance Corporation and Japan Bank for International Cooperation, and the amount involved here is 120 billion Japanese yen. Power Finance Corporation MD and CEO is Parmendra Chopra and is headquartered in New Delhi. So next, if you see, the World Bank had released a report, that is Global Economic Prospects Report. In that, it had projected that India will grow at 6.7% in financial 26 and 27. The global growth is expected to be 2.7% in 2025 and 2026. And in case of South Asian region, it is expected to grow at 6.2% in 2025 and 2026. So these kind of news, they don't need any explanation. It's just data that you have to remember. So main thing is remember India data and the global data. It is very, very important because GDP question will surely occur in any exam. So do remember the GDP data. It is very, very important. Next is about a plan that has been launched by Shriram Life Insurance. So Shriram Life Insurance has launched a plan called Sunishchit Labh Savings Plan. So this plan, it guarantees high return of up to 668% of the total premium paid. And individual age, it is people who are aged between 30 So who all can invest in this plan? So it is individuals who are aged, that is a baby or age of 30 days to a man age of 60 years. They can invest in this plan. The minimum premium is rupees 30,000. And also death benefit up to 160 times the annualized premium is also provided under this plan. Remember the name Sunishchit Labh Savings Plan. It is launched by Shriram Life Insurance. Next is about IDFC First Bank. So IDFC First Bank unveils first earn RuPay credit card. So this will be UPI enabled credit card. So you know that nowadays UPI have an option where you can link your credit card to your UPI ID. So you don't have to carry your card every time when you want to make a purchase. So if you just have your phone, using that UPI ID itself, you can make payment to the merchants. So this card, it has UPI enabled. So which means that you can link your credit card to this UPI, to the UPI ID. Next is customer access credit on UPI, attractive FD rates. So who all can avail this credit card? He must be an Indian citizen and age should be minimum 18 and they should have a minimum FD of 5,000 with the bank. Only then they are eligible to avail this RuPay credit card. So what are the benefits? If you see, the new card holders get 100% cash back on their first UPI transaction, that is up to rupees 500 within 15 days, and lost card liability coverage of up to 25,000, personal accident coverage of up to 2 lakhs. So these are the various benefits that are provided along with this credit card. The MD and CEO of IDFC First Bank is Vaidyanathan. So next news is about ranking. If you see, the HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank and SBI Bank are among the top 5 global banks in terms of market capitalization. This is a very, very good news because top 25, 3 banks of India are listed. That is a very, very good news. So remember the name, it is HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank and SBI Bank. And the first place, it is occupied by JP Morgan Chase. So JP Morgan Chase remains as the world's largest bank by market capitalization. So this is arranged in the market capitalization order. The first is JP Morgan Chase and Co. Next is USA based Bank of America Corporation. And if you see, the 3 banks that are listed in the top 5 from India are HDFC, ICICI and SBI. The rank is 13, 19 and 24. The next is Shriram Housing Finance, rebranded as True Home Finance. This rebranding follows its acquisition by Warburg Pincus and co-investors including Qatar Investment Authority. The Shriram Finance Group receives an investment of 1,225 crore, increasing the company's net worth to over 3,300 crore. Remember the rebranded name, True Home Finance. From Shriram Housing Finance, it has been rebranded to True Home Finance. The next news is also about GDP forecast. So we have seen a lot of GDP forecast in this news. Remember each and everything. Remember India's and globe GDP forecast. Okay, it is very, very, very important. I'm telling you once again, it is very important. So the IMF, it has retained India's GDP forecast at 6.5% for the financial year 26 and 27. And also the global forecast, if you see, it is retained at 3.3% for 2025 and for same for 2026 also. The global economy risks. So what are the risks that might affect this global forecast? So protectionist policies, geopolitical tension and inflationary pressures. The MD of IMF is Kristalina Georgieva. So if you see, if you want, I can provide you in the next video a consolidated version of the GDP forecast. So World Bank, IMF and many other organizations, each and every organization, they have given various other forecasts, right, for India. So I can provide it in a single table and provide it in your next video. So if you want that, do put it in the comment section. Okay. The next news is RBI sets up MK Jain led committee to evaluate the universal bank and small finance bank applications. So if you see, if any bank, if any NBFC wants itself to get converted into a small finance bank, or if any small finance bank wants itself get converted into universal bank, then it has to submit application to the RBI, right? So a committee will review this application. It will completely review the application. It will tell that whether you are eligible or not, whether you can be converted or not. For that purpose, this committee has been set and it will be led by MK Jain. So it is a 5-member committee, 5-member standing external advisory committee. So the other 4 members are Revati Iyer, Parvati V. Sundaram, Hemant G. Contractor and NS Kannan. So these are the 5 members, MK Jain, and these are the other 4 members of the committee. So the committee has a tenure of 3 years. They will review the universal bank application and the small finance bank application. So if you see, this is the eligibility criteria for conversion into small finance bank. So existing, who all can convert into small finance bank? Existing NBFC, local area bank, microfinance institution owned by the residents, they are eligible to apply for a license. Remember, it is NBFC, local area bank and microfinance institution. And also they should have maintained a minimum capital of 200 crores and they should have a successful track record of at least 10 years. The promoter must have at least 10 years experience in the banking sector. So these are the various eligibility criteria for a NBFC or local area bank or microfinance institution to convert themselves into a small finance bank. So let us look into the eligibility criteria for a small finance bank to convert into a universal bank. For that, if you see, the minimum net worth is 1000 crores. As per the previous quarter, it should be audited. Remember, previous quarter it should be audited and the minimum net worth should be 1000 crores. They should have had a satisfactory performance record for at least 5 years and should have maintained a capital adequacy ratio of 15%, maintain gross NPA at 3% and net NPA at 1%, and also it should be listed on the stock exchange. Remember the eligibility criteria, it is very, very, very important. The next news is RBI has provided in principle approval to Skydo in order to operate as a payment aggregator for the cross-border payments. The company, if you see, it works, the Skydo company, if you see, it works with global banks to provide a comprehensive solution for invoicing, payments and reconciliation. So currently, if you see, there are 5 companies that have received final approval from the RBI to function as a payment aggregator cross-border. So they are Adain Indian Technologies, Amazon Pay India Private Limited, Cash Free Payments, India Ideas and Pay10 Services Private Limited. Remember the name? Adain, Amazon, Cash Free, India Ideas and Pay10. And now Skydo has received in principle approval. So if you see, there are very few only that have got this payment aggregator cross-border payment approval. So remember the 5 names.
Thank you for watching the session. I hope you had enjoyed it. We're also available in Telegram under the name AffairsCloud_official. We also have an Instagram handle. Apart from this, you can contact us directly on 9677333862 regarding any courses that we offer or regarding any payment issues. You can contact on directly on this number. Thank you.